From the lion's hunt for survival to the grazing nature of the giraffe, we'll take you on the most exciting and diverse wild animal adventure. You'll see elephants, hyenas, exotic birds, warthogs, and more as Wild About Animals presents Africa Safari. On our first stop, we'll visit the Mashatu Game Preserve, where there are no cages to keep these animals fenced in. At Mashatu, all the animals are free to run and explore the African countryside. Then it's dinner time as we see how these animals must fend for themselves.
These are wild animals. They hunt, they look after themselves. That's the difference between a game reserve and a zoo. We don't feed our animals.
Cheetahs being very frail animals, they don't have much muscle on them because they're built really for speed and rather than stamina. You can easily damage them.
We'll visit a place that cares for the world's fastest land animal, the cheetah. Elephants have more than just large bodies. They're also pretty smart.
Elephant, one of those absolutely amazing species, extremely intelligent.
It's all here on Wild About Animals. And now our host, Mariette Hartley.
Hi everyone, and welcome to the Los Angeles Zoo and another Wild About Animals show. Today we'll take you on a special trip to the country of Botswana. There we'll explore the largest privately owned wildlife reserve in southern Africa. It's called the Mashatu Game Reserve, and it contains 75,000 acres of diverse wilderness and an incredible variety of animals. Mashatu has become a safe haven for many endangered animals, such as the giant African elephant. Now they're flourishing. It's really wonderful. Take a look. Welcome to the Mashatu Game Reserve, a place without any fences, where all animals are free to roam. Mashatu is located in the eastern corner of Botswana, bordering the countries of Zimbabwe and South Africa. Visitors of Mashatu are able to explore this land by traveling by truck and with the help of a guide. During our stay, our main guide and driver goes by the name of Joe. He is terrific.
I've been here so many years. I've been here for 15 years now at the moment, but the place I still enjoy so much. Actually, we're trying to, to get close to the animals, but not really quite close, because we need the animals to feel in freedom, And if you get in quite close, the animals they start to get nervous and run away.
Our first sighting is this herd of wildebeest. The wildebeest belong to the antelope family, which are all herbivores, which means they all feed on grass and other plants. Different species of herbivores often graze together. Nearby, we see 3 giraffes. Elegant, aren't they? They always look like they're moving in slow motion. The giraffe can grow to be 20 feet tall. Add another 1.5 feet for his tongue, and he can reach some pretty tall branches. Following closely behind the giraffe is a family of zebras. There's an advantage for these zebras to stay close to the giraffe. The giraffe can see a lot further and detect an approaching predator. In the same area as the wildebeest, giraffes, and zebras is this herd of impala. They're all grazing together.
They graze onto the same type of grass. That's why they're always together. Also, they help each other to see the predators, to watch the predators. Zebra, they have very good eyesight to see, and wildebeest doesn't have a good eyesight.
Look what happens when the bull wildebeest sends out a signal. Perhaps the bull detects a predator nearby.
hear that the bulls calling, they're all following. They all understand each other, you know. When that bull said that, let's go, and they all go. That's how the animals communicate, you know.
One reason Joe is so efficient at finding these animals is that he's an expert tracker. Footprints and fresh animal droppings are good indicators that animals are nearby. We're now looking for the world's largest living land animal, the elephant. And voila, there they are. No one animal has benefited more from this private reserve than these elephants. Before it was privatized, hunters would come and kill many elephants for their ivory tusks. Naturally, the elephants fled and disappeared. Now that there is no more hunting, over 700 elephants occupy Mashatu. Wow, look at that giant Mashatu tree, another great attraction here. The largest of these elephants weighs as much as 4 tons. That means eating a lot of roots, berries, twigs, and leaves. Their feeding instrument is their trunk, which is the extension of their nose and upper lip combined. Their trunk is both powerful and delicate. With it, an elephant can break a large branch or pick up a peanut. Well, looks like they're done eating here. Time to move on, I guess. Just one morning at Mashatu can provide any visitor with memories that will last a lifetime. It's the start of a new day here in Africa. The sun has begun to rise, and with it, a new day dawns for the animals that rise with it. For some, that means getting back to work, whether it's building a nest or grooming a friend. For other animals, it's a chance to quench a thirst or feed a hunger. And for others still, the morning signifies yet another day they've managed to survive. Lions are the kings of the jungles. They're at the top of nature's food chain, which means that in order for them to survive, other animals must die. Animals like the zebra, the warthog, and the wildebeest. Carnivores like the lion eat meat and only meat. So out in the wild, they're forced to hunt or starve. And on a game reserve like Kapama, it's no different.
The wild animals, they hunt, they look after themselves. That's the difference between a game reserve and a zoo. We don't feed our animals. The animals have their own way. The only thing we do, we take off animals or we bring in animals and we keep a perfect balance of the animals in the game reserve. And then you always have enough grass for the amount of grazers you have enough food for the amount of predators you have. I think it's nice. You drive around, you see how everything works.
And how it works is absolutely amazing. Every creature has its place. Every animal has a purpose. Whether it's the oxpecker picking the unwanted ticks off the buffalo, or the hyena, an animal that finishes off the bones most other predators aren't able to chew. There are the grazers who cut the grass, the browsers who eat the leaves, and there are the giraffes, the only animals Mother Nature created who can trim the trees. Growing up to 18 feet tall, the giraffe is the tallest mammal on land. It's also the biggest ruminant, meaning that after it swallows, it brings the food right back up to be re-chewed. This provides the same relaxation for them that sleeping does for other animals. Other ruminants include African antelopes, like the impala, the kudu, known for its massive horns, and the waterbuck, named for its tendency to use water as a means of escape, a method that unfortunately doesn't always work.
If you look here, we have a dead waterbuck. It's a male waterbuck. What's left of a male waterbuck. It was just eaten up by lions a couple of weeks ago. You can see nothing's wasted out here. But lions don't clean it this way. This is already after hyenas were here, jackals were here, vultures, everybody.
Hyenas, jackals, and vultures, these are all scavengers, animals that feed on carrion or the remains of dead animals. A thankless job, but an important one in helping creatures decompose and return to the earth. It's all just part of the circle of life out here in the bush. The reality of the wild is that some animals are the prey and some animals are the predators. It's kill or be killed or starve. And as powerful as they are, even lions are only successful about 20% of the time. Which brings us back to the two we met earlier. These guys are definitely on the prowl. This giraffe knows better than to turn its back. But what about the impala? These waterbuck obviously have no idea that danger lurks nearby. It was with a mixture of excitement and dread that we watched the kill unfold before our very eyes. With one fell swoop, the lions did as Mother Nature intended and took down enough food to satisfy their hungry stomachs. It was a meal they'd enjoy all day long, and a sight we'd remember for the rest of our lives. A rather fitting end to another day of our incredible African adventure. The biggest threat to elephants over the years has been the hunter, who kills these animals for their overgrown incisors, also known as tusks. The Mashatu Game Reserve provides a protected environment for these largest of land mammals, and as a result, they are thriving here. Being able to watch generations of elephants roaming freely is definitely one of the features that makes Mashatu so special.
Elephant, one of those absolutely amazing species. They're extremely intelligent. They're very human-like. Elephants are obviously animals, but they have a lot of behaviors that are very human-like. In a family unit, now, a family unit consists out of the mother and her daughters and their offspring. And within the herd, everybody looks after everybody else. So all the babies get protected by the big females. And if one baby squeals, everybody pays attention. By the babies, they are fascinating to watch. The younger ones, less than a year old, you normally can age them by looking at, comparing them to their mother. If they can walk underneath the belly of their mother, then they're less than a year old. And then the very little ones, you can just see they're very unstable on their feet and they don't know what to do with their trunk, and it just goes all over the show. So it's wonderful watching them and the way they would relate to their mother, to find out what she's eating and what she's doing.
The female elephants, known as cows, first start having babies when they're 15 years old. The period between mating and the birth of a young elephant is about 22 months. Female elephants generally give birth once every 4 or 5 years. The male elephants, known as bulls, usually live alone or with a small group of other males.
The males are easy to identify. Their heads are big. When you look at them from the side, the head is rounded. The frontal part is rounded like that. With the females, the forehead is very sharp. It's like really angular. That's the way you can ID male from female.
Every elephant is distinct in its own way. Their ears, tusks, and tails are used by researchers to identify them.
As you look at the ears, you can see the outside of the ears are all different. They got holes in, they got tears in, they got big gaps, and the gaps are different shapes. So you draw a picture over the outside of the ear, you draw in the tusk. Sometimes you get a cow with a tusk going straight out to the side, or uneven tusk, or a shorter and a longer tusk. And a tail you draw in, whether they've got a long, thick, bushy tail or no tail at all with the tail hair. And that gives you an ID, and you can get up to thousands of different combinations just by doing that.
There are over 700 elephants in Mashatu, and their numbers are growing. Soon there won't be enough land to support these giant tree-foraging mammals. For this reason, there is a proposal to open up more protected land in the neighboring countries of Zimbabwe and South Africa. This would allow these elephants to spread out even more and provide security for future generations. What a wonderful idea. Led by Joe, our Mashatu guide, members of our production crew experience what it's like to approach a herd of zebras on a two-wheeler. We try not to interfere, but these animals are very wary and have a keen sense of hearing. Their stripes help serve as camouflage, as they are always on guard for their main predator, the lion. Moving on, we decide to look for bigger game. Biking through the bush isn't as easy as it might appear. By going on two wheels, you can easily get more adventure than you'd bargained for. After drying off, we spot a small herd of elephants. Elephants have bad eyesight, but excellent smell. As long as we stayed downwind, we would be okay.
Look at the elephant. Oh, that's beautiful.
While adult females usually aren't aggressive, if they feel their babies are being threatened, they've been known to charge. Thankfully, we go undetected. One advantage of going by bike is you get a much closer look at some of the more subtle beauties of the gorgeous land. For instance, this is a bird watcher's paradise. There are over 350 species of birds at Mashatu. Mashatu is known by some as the land of the giants. They have the largest mammals, the elephant. They have the largest bird, the ostrich, the largest cat, the tallest mammal, and they have the largest antelope, the eland. The eland can be best identified by the loose fold of skin hanging from its neck, known as a dewlap. Some animals are ubiquitous out here at Mashatu, like the jackal. These scavengers are always hanging around in the background. Another animal that's easy to find out here are the warthogs. These odd-looking animals are fun to watch, always burrowing for roots and berries. Discovering Africa on two-wheelers gave us some thrills and spills. And the best part of all, the animals didn't even know we were there. Just kidding, of course. But as far as capturing wildlife in its most natural state, it doesn't get much better than this. It's now time to turn our attention to one very special animal in particular, an animal that has always been one of my favorites. It's called the cheetah. And after watching this next story, I'm sure it will become one of your favorites as well. The cheetah is one of the fastest animals on land. In only 2 to 3 seconds, they can accelerate to speeds of up to 60 miles an hour. Everything about them is designed for that speed. Their bodies are streamlined, their legs are slender and strong, And the cheetah's heart is enlarged to help quickly pump oxygen throughout the body. They are a truly unique animal and a magnificent creature, and they're also in danger of extinction. It's said that about 12,000 years ago, some kind of natural disaster occurred that almost annihilated the entire cheetah population. Habitat destruction and hunting have further reduced their numbers to the point where every animal is important to the survival of the species. So here at the Kapama Game Reserve, when a cheetah gets sick, it gets help.
This cheetah we're immobilizing today is a king cheetah, very, very rare animal. She started vomiting about 10 days ago, so we brought her straight into the hospital.
And straight to the care of Dr. Peter Rogers, the man in charge of making sure sick and injured cheetahs get nursed back to health here at Kapama's Veterinary Hospital.
We're going to immobilize her now, just treat her for internal and external parasites, and then put her back in her pen this evening. It's a slow injection of the agent into the animal. It's very light. Cheetahs being very frail animals, they don't have much muscle on them because they're built really for speed and rather than stamina. You can easily damage them.
So far, so good. Now the doctor can get to work. Everything gets checked, every problem gets treated. And not just for the sake of the animal, but for all of its potential offspring as well. The veterinary hospital is part of a larger project called the Hoedspruit Cheetah Project. Started as a hobby in 1988, the center now boasts one of the largest collections of cheetahs in the world.
The main goal of this breeding center is to reintroduce cheetahs, to breed them in captivity, and to reintroduce them into areas where they formerly occurred.
In the center's short duration, they have managed to successfully release over 30 cheetahs into the wilds of southern Africa. Cheetahs like the two we found living here at the Kapama Game Reserve. These guys were taking full advantage of the daylight to scout out their next meal. Being more timid animals, cheetahs often lose their prey to more aggressive predators and hunt by day as a way of avoiding competition. The black lines under their eyes help them in that effort, forming natural sunglasses which reflect the sun out of their eyes. With their keen eyesight and acute sense of smell, cheetahs spend most of the time scanning the horizon for food. And so we sat with them, enjoying the view, happily watching the moon rise with one of the most awesome creatures on Earth. One of the things that piqued our interest in South Africa was the presence of what's known as the Big Five, the 5 most popular and most photographed animals on the continent. And why are they so popular? Well, they're also the most dangerous. And so naturally, we devoted our last day to trying to find each and every one of them. The elephant, the rhino, the lion, the leopard, and the buffalo. These are the animals that make up the notorious Big Five. And the aim of any big game drive in Africa is to catch sight of all of them. A daunting task, but the goal for the day as we set out with our ranger, Shy. First up, a couple of rhinoceroses. Africa has 2 different species, the black rhino and these, the more common white rhino. Both are actually gray in color, but the white rhino is distinguished by having a wide, flat lip and this small hump above its neck, which forces it to eat from the ground. A trait common to both species are the 2 horns, big enough to strike a note of fear in any potential predators. Luckily for us, white rhinos are the more docile of the 2, much more content to run away from humans than towards them. Still, we didn't want to overstay our welcome.
Should be a herd of elephants just up ahead. Then we see if we could find them.
And with Shy's help, we sure did. We encountered a small herd of elephants doing what elephants do best.
See how they're eating leaves, grass, everything. Because they only digest 40% of their food.
Growing up to 13 feet tall and 15,000 pounds wide, elephants are the largest of all the mammals on land, which means they require an awful lot of food to survive. In fact, with a daily diet of about 300 pounds of vegetation, elephants have been known to eat morning, noon, and well into the night. The elephant is an extremely powerful animal. Both males and females have two long, sharp tusks, in between which is the trunk, made up of almost pure muscle and used for just about everything, from eating and drinking to smelling and sometimes even to breathing. Because of their massive size and incredible strength, elephant sightings can provide for some thrilling moments as they like to come right up to the vehicles. But they are, for the most part, only dangerous if provoked, and are usually happier to just move on along. And so were we. And we were happier still to encounter this next animal, one that Africans say has an air of mystery about it, the Cape buffalo.
The truth is, nobody knows where Cape buffalo originated from. We know that the water buffalo originated about 7 million years ago. But these guys are the only cattle-like species that survive in sub-Saharan Africa without human intervention, like any other cow species.
Like other bovines, such as cattle and bison, the Cape buffalo spends most of its day either eating or resting. And so we wondered, why would these grass and plant eaters, these seemingly peaceful, lazy-looking animals, be considered so dangerous?
Very aggressive animals. When I walk, the only animal I really worry about. When one of them charges you, it's not a mock charge and it's not going to turn around. It comes straight for you. And it will miss you, it will come back again. And I've seen buffalo chase away lions many times.
Buffalo herds can number up to 1,000 members big. That, combined with 4-foot-long horns, could be a pretty disastrous combination. But still, the lion does remain, hands down, the most powerful of all the predators here in Africa. Lions stand just 4 feet tall at the shoulder, but whether male or female, every inch of them is pure strength and muscle, from the bottom of their paws all the way up to those incredible jaws. Just look at those teeth. Lions are the most social of all the cats. They live in groups called prides, consisting of one male and up to a dozen females and their cubs.
What's interesting about this litter is that all 3 cubs are female, where usually you get 4 times more males in litters than females.
What a treat it was for us to be able to watch these young cubs play.
Lions are not great climbers, but when they're young, they climb quite a lot. But as they get older, they get too heavy for it.
Well, we had one more animal to see, and we were running out of time to see it. Luckily for us, the leopard is best spotted after dark. Unluckily, this most elusive animal, this master of stealth and camouflage, was gone before we knew it, leaving us behind with our memories of all the incredible animals we've been able to experience, memories that would surely last a lifetime.